Sanjay Kapoor is joining us now on the show. Sanjay, great to speak with you. A big day with the 5G spectrum prices being announced. I mean, at least a recommendation from TRAI. And we had this analysis from my colleague Samid, who's talking about how there is a cut up to about 40% on average from earlier prices, but not as deep a cut as the telecom industry had asked for. What do you think the impact of that is going to be?
Tamanna, good evening to you and the viewers. 5G has been a very hot subject, not only in India, but globally. And there are two sides of the coin. One is the input price of the raw material, which is spectrum, and then is the yield that you get from the raw material, which is the price that the customers pay. Right now, the equation is not balancing any part of the world. Even when the prices of the spectrum are far, far cheaper than even after this reduction that TRA has given. Reduction and looking at 5G as something that will actually result into economic benefits for industries all across the spectrum is a reality, and the government realizes that, which is very evident from the fact that the prices have gone down. But are these prices good enough, given the fact that India is still infrastructure-wise not 5G ready? We will need a lot more fiber. We will need a lot more towers and sites. We will need a lot more backhaul. We will need use cases. And the amount of monies that are required to make that happen and then offer a customer experience which will yield returns for the operators is far-fetched for now. That is on the supply side of things. On the demand side of things, countries that have gone in for just basic high-speed connectivity have not actually got any great extra revenues from that application. And the real use cases are still being worked out. So I think given these two things, and given where India stands today, obviously even with these prices, to make a business case for the operators seems a very tall order, prima facie.
Surprise possibly is the option of prices for 30 years, which have been put on offer, which will be about 1.5 times that of the prices for 20 years. Do you think there'll be any takers for that?
It is 1.5 times the price of the 20 years, which means you can extend it at a later point in time. Why would any government have a problem if an operator can take that call 10 years hence, 15 years hence? The idea that the government has is not to take back the spectrum, because give it to whom? Ultimately, 5G is for healthy balance sheets. And when you look at where the operators stand in the market today, it is only Jio and Airtel who can actually afford a 5G investment, full hog. You need 100 megs of spectrum, huge amount of investment in the infrastructure and use cases going forward. Who can afford it other than these two operators? So I think government's thinking that they can take back the spectrum at a later date doesn't seem likely. They would want the same two operators to use it for as long as possible, because there'll be so many industries that will be developing applications around 5G to be competitive, not only in India, but globally going forward. So I guess this 20-year, 30-year game can be parked aside for the moment. Even if you buy the spectrum for 20 years for now, it's good enough, and then see how 5G rolls out, and probably by then 6G will be a reality, and the same spectrum will roll over. So I think 2030 to me is more an academic discussion, but given where we stand, the prices even after this reduction probably will not meet the requirements of the operators to make a business case that will be worth this investment going forward, is the doubt that they carry. And I think when I look at the operators all across the globe, I also feel a little skeptical that, at these prices, the raw materials still very expensive.
Thank you so much, Sanjay Kapoor, for joining us today. That was the big news coming out, at least perhaps some clarity on how those very coveted 5G spectrum auctions could go.